Hello, Luminous One. I want to talk to you about something I've been hearing a lot recently from so many beautiful beings. The systems on Earth right now are broken, we know that, and they suck. Life on Earth very much has been set up in the human paradigm in a way that is not designed for individuals or families to thrive. We know that, that's true. It's really that way. That is thoroughly understood. The systems that have been orchestrated to keep humanity enslaved are all present. They are functioning in a certain way. It gives the impression that we basically work, we pay taxes, we die, that's it. It's sort of thing. We know that. Yes, really, 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 really clear. And yet, what I notice as a theme for so many luminous beings when there is another option possible is that this whole paradigm leads to a sense of despair. This whole paradigm leads to a sense of, oh my God, we're just trapped in this is just broken, I'm blah, 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 all the things, all that sort of thing, when the alternative is wide open for us. And the alternative goes like this sucks. This is garbage. I'm not participating. I'm not participating. Can we allow the sense of what sometimes can manifest itself as despair, especially for the younger generations these days, at how things are and how incredibly difficult it is in the human paradigm to live and all of the things? Can we let that sense actually transform itself into the impetus to create something different, where we say, I don't want to play in that. And instead of allowing myself to be dragged down by the burden of the system that, yes, has been set up that way, that's really clear at this point, can I use it as leverage to power myself into, I'm not playing? I'm creating something entirely different for myself. I am not going to be one of the younger people who never gets to have their own home, who is completely stuck with no jobs being available, etc., etc., etc. I am not going to be one of those people. I am not going to be somebody who is bound to the system. I am not going to be somebody who has to live a life that is not the life that I really want, where I don't get to spend time with my loved ones, where I'm working for somebody else, where I'm miserable, etc. I'm not going to be that. And I'm using the way things are as the power to shift myself into stepping into a position of actually crafting my own reality that is determined by me. See, we misunderstand some of these things. Part of the reason that things on this planet right now are so oppositional seeming is to make sure that we cannot possibly ignore the impulse that we have to create a different world. If we didn't have a hot poker in our backside saying, you gotta move, we probably wouldn't bother to go to the effort that is needed to actually become sovereign enough to take control of our own lives, to become self responsible enough that we are 100% recognizing and owning I alone am the one who governs my reality. I am not bound by anything. I alone am the one who determines what my life is going to be. I alone have the power to create my destiny. Society does not decide that. That requires a bit of leverage. And so, really, the blessing of things being so intense, again, especially for the younger generations on the planet at this time, is to come with a boot and give us a thorough kick so that we have no choice left but to take our power back. So, I want to talk to you a little bit about reality creation. And this is something that I've done so many different videos on before that you can find in my YouTube channel. We have to understand that when we set out to create our own lives in the way that we actually want to live instead of what somebody else says we're condemned to, we have to understand the mechanics of how realities work. We do not need to be part of the mainstream money reality. We do not need to be part of the mainstream time reality. We do not need to be part of the mainstream matrices in any way. That is a choice. we can actually live in, for instance, a higher realm money reality that is not the same thing as the collective paradigm's money reality. We can live in a realm of timelessness where we're not bound by linearity in the way that the masses believe that they are. We can live in our own self-created reality where we say it is like this and it is like that, where the visions of our minds and the attitudes of our hearts combine to craft the quality of our experience that we uniquely are having, even if the man beside us is experiencing something totally different. This is the mechanics of how realities actually function. We have to know there is no such thing as a collective reality that we're all sharing. The only reason that it seems like that is the case is because many people simultaneously are buying into the illusion that there is one reality. That is not true. It's one of the biggest spiritual illusions going, and unfortunately, even many highly conscious beings fall into that trap. The truth is that every single one of us is experiencing our own completely unique, completely distinct reality. And so the only reason that it seems like we could be sharing, let's say, the scenario that other young people are experiencing right now is because there's a point of resonance. The way realities work is like Vesica Pisces. If you imagine there's the field of your reality here, there's a field of another reality here, and they cross over through a point of resonance, like you would imagine, I can't really do it with my hands, but like you would imagine the Vesica Pisces. If we have a point of reference with whatever the collective paradigm is, that sucks us into seeming to experience that reality. So point of reference can be the pain point of it is like this. Yeah, in that reality, it is like that, yes. Or the pain point of I'm stuck, I'm trapped, I don't have the power to create my own life, etc. Then yeah, you're going to be creating a point of resonance where you actually lock yourself in to that reality. We have to choose as sovereign divine beings, as divine leaders in the making, to say, I actually unhook myself from those points of resonance and I choose to resonate something else instead. In this new cosmic reality, resonance is the law, which means that whatever you are resonating and resonating with is actually emphasizing what will be created in your reality. So we want to get into the field of resonance of being absolutely sovereign, of creating a joyous life where work is outside of the collective paradigm, where work is our soul art, where work is our life of joy, where we operate within the higher realm money experience, not the mainstream money matrix, where we operate according to principles that are true to our deeper selves. All of these things are within our control. And the very reason that human society has been set up the way it is has been deliberately to make us forget this. So, can you call upon the warrior within yourself, the powerful spiritual warrior within yourself, that when you witness entrapment that has been set up that way, instead of allowing yourself to bow to feeling despair at the entrapment, can you take out your sword of truth and say, slash this, I'm not playing. I'm absolutely not having any of this paradigm. It's nonsense. I do not buy into this. I choose to be a warrior of light. I choose to create my own reality in the way that I want my reality to be, and I am not being enslaved. That is not my choice. My choice is to remember my divinity. My choice is to remember my luminous power. My choice is to remember who I really am as a divine being in the flesh, and to take back my capacity to design my life and therefore entirely new realities for life on earth from a place of absolute sovereignty. And for that, we have to have 100% self-responsibility, and this can sometimes be the hardest part, because it is much easier to pretend that we are somehow controlled by something outside of ourselves than it is to say, wait now, I'm responsible for this. I choose how my reality is going to go. That takes a lot of humility. That takes a lot of sober looking at yourself and the subtle victimhood patterns that you're harboring that you don't want to admit. That takes a lot of getting really clear within yourself around what you actually want and what it's going to take for you to create that, what you're going to need to change within yourself, what you're going to need to change about the way you run your life, what you're going to need to change in your attitudes, your perceptions, the work it's going to require from you. And the fact of the matter is that many people simply are not willing to be sovereign. And yet they say they want to overthrow the government or whatever other nonsense. Government's not going away until we learn to operate as sovereign divine beings. And when we do, these structures will no longer be needed anymore. So if you're actually committed to creating something entirely different for life on Earth, this is the place that we want to be looking. And this is the place that we want to be sitting down with ourselves every single day and getting super clear, what am I buying into? What do I choose to do instead? And a lot of the time it simply comes down to that we didn't know there was another option. So part of the way humility can work to support us is if we are constantly in the humility of, wait a minute, there's always more to life than I'm seeing. I don't know anything for sure. There's always more going on than my small self is able to access. That immediately throws open the doorway of, wait now, there are more possibilities. There are more possibilities than the limits of my mind are allowing myself to conceive of right at this moment, and they are there for me to access. Let it be your daily prayer. I open myself to access beyond what my mind can see. And just wait until you witness the miracles that unfold in your life. Hope that this has been supported today. Much love.